Thank you for staying with us and welcome to our views. My name is Agi Oase and joining me are the ladies Shivan Auma and Priva Elivers. Happy Friday, ladies.
Happy Friday,
Happy
Agi
hour.
Oase.
Happy hour. We have happy hour.
Somewhere it's happy
Somewhere
hour.
it's happy
Somewhere
hour.
it's happy hour.
Yeah.
When is happy hour in Uganda?
It's supposed to be 5 p.m.
Not 4?
I love the way you say that. It was so fast and I was like, are you sure it's not 4?
No, but it's
So,
5
are you
p.m.
planning on going for a happy hour
Of course,
today?
today is a Friday. Today is a Friday. It's a beautiful day to be relaxing. Go for a massage. Go to the sauna. Do a steam bath. Do your nails. I saw a nail thing that I want to do. The yellow.
Inspiration.
The yellow that you were talking about. I think I would want to do that.
That's nice.
Where are you guys getting money to go for happy hour? I thought that we're all suffering in this economy.
No. Remember, they said in Uganda that the nighttime economy is middle class, right?
Exactly.
Then 7 a.m. we go back to suffering. So
Absolutely. So I do not know if for you subscribe to that notion, but me I do.
You're the people that are misleading our Ministry of Finance, you know. And I mean, having said we are middle income, you know, status country,
Yeah.
and then you're saying you have money, you know, to go for happy hour. They're like, man, I think Ugandans actually have money.
Have money.
We don't have money to
pretending.
go out, but we don't have money to buy bus.
someone spent 31
Really?
million shillings in a night. So, Ugandans.
Anyways, tales of being a Ugandan. But today let's talk about people pleasing. Are you that people pleaser? Are you the kind of person that people refer to as a people pleaser? You always, you know, on someone's bumper, is that even the right word? You're always, you know, trying to make sure they are well at the expense of your own happiness, your own feelings, and your own goals. Now, people pleasing involves putting someone else's needs ahead of your own. People pleasers are highly attuned to others and are often seen as agreeable. If you studied psychology just like myself, you know what being agreeable means, and also you're too helpful and way too kind. Now, however, people pleasers may have trouble advocating for themselves, because if you are always trying to please someone, if you are always trying to make sure that everything works in someone else's favor, when do you ever get time to advocate or stand up for your own self? So my first question, ladies, do you consider yourself a people pleaser?
Okay, I wouldn't really consider myself a people pleaser. However, there are some things I do not agree with when it comes to people pleasing. One of the signs that they say a person is a people pleaser is that you put other people's feelings into consideration. Now, I do not agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you have to put into account what someone else is, you know, feeling, or how you talk to them, or how you know, do things with them. You have to keep in mind what the other person is feeling. Then they also say if you're a people pleaser, then you don't have to be sorry, or you should, you know, just be you, basically, like be you. You don't apologize for being you. What is that? If you have bad manners, you are supposed to apologize, you know. You cannot say, I'm not going to apologize just because it's me being me. I don't want to please anyone else. That takes away from morality as people. Yes. Morals, yes. At least, you know, be saying sorry and putting people's feelings into consideration does not make you a people pleaser. So for me, I would say no, I'm not a people pleaser. However, I like to keep people's feelings in mind when I'm relating with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like what I like what Privas has said right there. I used to think, before I actually sat down and took time to read and get to understand exactly what people pleasing is, for me the notion I had in my mind is that people pleasing is something very negative. However, there's actually a good side to it, because like now the traits of someone being a people pleaser is putting someone's feelings first, is putting someone's emotions first, and that is okay. It is being generous, it is being kind, it is being loving, and that is okay. However, where it gets toxic is when you're doing it at the expense of your own needs. You're doing it because you have to do it. You feel like you need to do it, yet actually it's not making you happy. Like if let's say your boss has told you, or if your parents, okay, a friend has told you, let's go to this place and, you know, get coffee or something. But because you know that you're not, first of all, you're not an extrovert. You know, you like to be at home. You're not a coffee person even. Maybe you don't even like caffeine. But because you're trying to please this person and you want, you know, something from them, you go ahead and do it. However, I would say people pleasing does come in handy sometimes. I mean, we have gotten away with things through people pleasing. Me, I have gotten things through people pleasing. So surely it does help to have
about some of those things.
Why do you want to let my secrets out of the bag?
Oh, they actually big secrets. Okay, well, for me, I don't consider myself a people pleaser. I really take people's feelings into consideration. But when a time comes and I feel that my kindness, or, you know, My being a good person is being taken for advantage, or I'm being taken advantage of, or being taken for a ride. That is the word that we usually use. There, I put a hold on whatever I'm doing. Like I quickly act. So I'm not a people pleaser. However, I'm a kind person, and I really, really take people's feelings into consideration, but don't take my kindness for granted. Anyway, let's talk about some of the signs that you are actually a people pleaser. How would you know that someone is a people pleaser? Or how would you know that you are a people pleaser?
If someone's opinion about how you look or how you dress is such a big deal for you, then you know that you're a people pleaser. I know, because back then when I had very low self-esteem, I used to mind so much about how people saw me, how they perceived me, and every single time I received rejection or I got a no, I would work the extra mile, not to work on myself, but to please the person from which the opinion is coming from. So the first telltale sign is when you're constantly looking for acceptability. You always want to be accepted. You always want to be acknowledged. Even when there's nothing big you have done, you want to be known that Shivan is around. Shivan did this. Yet actually, you're not doing it from the bottom of your heart. The second one is when you constantly you feel like you're very empty inside. You have so many friends around you. You have an amazing job probably. You're getting a very good salary. You're living the best life that anyone would want to have. But deep down, you feel empty. That means you're continuously doing things not to please yourself, but to please others. That is why you find in this generation, that is why people say this generation is a very sad generation. They are sad on the inside, but on the outside they are happy. That is on social media. You see someone trending, snapping, and they're on Twitter. Kumbe, a person is doing all this to please, for validation. Why do we want people's validation?
As you talk about that, let me ask you, don't you think it's actually a good thing that you portray yourself as a happy person even when you are not really happy? You know the saying of, it's a good thing that you don't look like your problem. Sometimes you actually don't have to look like your problem.
Do you know that?
Let me tell you something about people and human beings.
Mm-hmm.
About human beings. Trust me, no one wants to be with a miserable person.
I've not said that you must look like your problems, and I've seen that TikTok video somewhere. I truly say that for people who are going through a hard situation, it's not always a good idea for you to showcase your problems. I mean, people have either bigger problems, or people really do not care, as in you're having your problems and so, like, I have bigger problems. That is how terrible the world is. However, do you know the reason as to why we have so many cases of depression and PTSD and trauma and mental health? It's because we never let out our emotions. We are going through so much, but because we are trying to please the other people, we are living a lie. The truth of the matter is that the life you're living is not your own. You're living someone's else. In fact, it's good you should be called even bipolar, because 1 minute you're Shivan, the other minute you're Shivan the traumatized. You get to understand what I'm saying? You're just causing kavuyo and trying to have people accept you. Why?
Before I actually, speak on one of the ways that you can understand someone is a people pleaser, I'll say that people actually share their happy moments on social media, even when they're going through stuff. You see, some people are actually able to express themselves and say, you know what, I don't feel okay with this is what I'm going through. But others, it's a sign of weakness. They never grew up around people who would, make them feel comfortable enough to open up and, speak about some of the things that they're going through. So I think for our generation, yes, people are really unhappy. People are battling, all sorts of, things, depression and etc. and etc. But it's because maybe we come from a place where we're not allowed to talk about our pain. Yes, your pain is your pain. You deal with it, you handle it. You put your big girl pants on and you head on, deal with it. So yeah, just a supplement on that. But speaking on how you know that you're a people pleaser, yeah? You want to be like people around you. If you go to a setting and people are drinking alcohol, you may not necessarily be an alcohol person, but you're like, pour me some,
Maybe you're a social drinker.
Not necessarily a social drinker, but you become a social drinker because you want to fit in that particular group that you're with. Mm-hmm. Yes, you go somewhere, people are smoking, maybe let's say shisha or marijuana, and you're like, give me some, because you want to feel like you are accepted, you are a part of this group. So if you ever find yourself that yes, it's good. I mean, they bring out different personalities of you. We're able to see Aggie the drinker. Aggie Aggie who does this and that, but at the end of the day you're lost. No one knows who you are. No one understands Shiva, no one understands Priva, because you're just swaying with the wind. Where the wind is taking you, that's the direction you're going. And I think the other bit is if you depend on praise so much that it drives your whole perception of how you live in this life. Validation, like you mentioned. It's okay, of course, we all love to hear those, nice words from someone, like a friend of yours, and you come in and Aggie's like, oh, Priva, you have nice hair, or you have a nice dress, or you have nice this, or Shivan, you have nice nails, or nice shoes.
Right.
Or nice shoes.
Any of these things.
Yeah, it's good to receive those compliments, but if you depend on them to drive how you feel, or, make you feel worth it, or make you feel worthy in life, then that's a problem, because you're actually trying to please other people. So it's more of like your happiness comes from their validation, which is wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Besides what the ladies have said, like some of the signs that you're actually a people pleaser, let me add a few onto theirs. One of them is you have a difficult time saying no. I think Shivan said that. You're a yes person. It doesn't matter whether they're overlooking you, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, you're always a yes person. You don't have the word no in your mouth at all. Or maybe you're always afraid of how people will take the no. So you're that person. The other one is you're preoccupied with what others might think of you. It can be your dress code, it can be how you talk, it can be how you walk, literally everything. Your world revolves around what people think of you. Then you're a people pleaser. The other one is you feel guilty when you do not tell people no. Well, I have found myself in that situation before, where you actually are telling someone no, but in your heart you're feeling so guilty. People who are not pleasers, or who are not people pleasers, they will say no and they will mean exactly what they say, and they will never feel guilty about it. The other one is you fear that turning people down will make them think you are mean or selfish. Same as, not being able to say no. The other one is you agree to things you don't like, or do things you do not want to do because everyone else is doing them, or because you actually want to make your circles happy. The other one is you struggle with feelings of low self-esteem. Shivan did mention that. And the other one, you want people to like you and feel that doing things for them will earn their approval. Let me say this before we continue. I had not a friend, but an acquaintance back in the day.
She has been demoted.
To acquaintance.
Let me tell you. There was this acquaintance of mine, brother, back in school. So what happens, there's this very beautiful girl, but I really, I've always said that girl was so beautiful. So everyone wanted to be their friend. So this one girl would ask, can I go, we used to fetch water from the tap and all that, and maybe in the shower, can I carry it for you in the shower? Can I iron for you your clothes? Can I wash for you? This girl was like a princess in school, and this girl was literally doing for her everything, because she wanted, to seek her approval. She really wanted her to be her friend.
Must be nice.
Yes, must be nice to be on the receiving end, right?
Imagine you're in school. Yeah, school.
Why are you imagining? I went through it myself.
You did that for someone?
I was being treated like a princess. I don't know why.
I thought you did it for someone. When you do that for someone, then you're a people pleaser. And the sad reality is sometimes you may not even gain their approval.
Oh yeah.
Or they may not actually really like you. They may take advantage of that and just use you, and you end up being frustrated. Don't be that person. The other one is you're always telling people you are sorry about anything and everything. Yes, being sorry is a good thing, it's courteous, but sometimes you don't have to apologize for things that actually you're not supposed to be sorry about.
For, yeah.
Yes, let the other people also say sorry to you. Why are you the only person saying sorry? The other one is you take the blame even when something isn't your fault. I mentioned that. You never have any free time because you're always doing things for other people. Doing things for other people and doing things that other people like. When will you do something for yourself if you're always doing things for other people? The other one is you neglect your own needs in order to do things for others. And finally, you pretend to agree with people even though you feel differently.
No.
Have you found yourself in that situation where you have a whole different opinion or perspective on something, but because you want to please the person right next to you, you don't say it? You agree with what they're saying.
I don't think I've been in that situation. However, when you talked about it, it took me back to emotional intelligence. I think that happened to me when I did not want to come off as more intelligent as the other person. I don't think it still sticks as being a people-pleasing thing, because people are talking about, let's say, you're talking about fuel prices, and you know more because for some reason you're into media and you don't want to come off obscenely smart and very informed. So you might, also give your shallow knowledge, not in a way of pleasing people, but sometimes I think it's very important to fit in, especially let's say if you've gone for a meet and greet, you know, you're meeting important people, you're meeting dignitaries and all this, and you need to fit in. I think that is where people pleasing.
You dull your shine.
I think that is where people pleasing comes into perspective. When you're trying to get into something, when you're trying to maybe build your career on, you want to get something from someone. For example, imagine Priva was the first lady and I need something from her. Yours truly. You know, I'll probably do something to please her. I know she loves, you know, she loves particular drinks. I know she likes
money.
to hang out. She loves money. You know,
Forgot the most important thing.
I would probably give her those to please her and then get something in return. So even while we're here castigating and saying people pleasing is bad, people pleasing actually does come in handy. However, it is the greatest sign of low self-esteem. And usually this low self-esteem is drawn from people being unkind. I keep telling people the words you tell people, stay to them. I remember when I was in school, people used to make fun of my legs. But it took me a whole time to get over it. I started to do things a certain way because I was pleasing. I kept on putting, you know, trousers, long dresses, yet that wasn't my thing until I said, you know what? This can't be the worst thing that can ever happen to me. I'm done with this. I'm done with this nonsense and kavuyo. And here I am. But there are people who actually go through PTSD because of terrible comments that they have received from your friends. You have a big nose, you have a forehead. You're the people causing people to go through depression, and they're ending up being people pleasers. Why?
Why? Well, for
But
the
you
record,
do not have to do. You do not have to do what people want you to do. You know, you can be yourself.
Unfortunately, there are some people who do not think that way. And it takes a lot of maturity. Like I said, I've given my own example. It took me a lot of time for me to get out of that.
well, for the record, Siobhan, I've seen you wear dresses, I've seen you wear skirts and all that, and you have fantastic long legs. Like, they are so beautiful, yeah? I don't understand like what was happening back then, because I'm trying to put two and two together, and it's
It
just,
was
you
terrible.
know, yeah, it's not adding up.
I think maybe it also comes like from comparison of you don't actually approve that yours are good enough. Like you look at someone else's legs or someone else's nose and you're like, oh my God, she actually has a beautiful nose. And you do not look at yourself.
That
so
person you're probably looking at is probably thinking, God damn, have the worst nose.
Exactly.
You know?
That is the thing. The other thing is you're still saying something?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The other thing is people pleasers are actually pick-me's. You know, pick-me's, like pick me. Every other day you want your friends to pick you. You want your boyfriends to pick you. I don't know. You are always
You're
in
a
a space
pick-me.
where you're a pick-me. If you
Yeah.
get what that means.
Yeah.
So let's talk about
what is so bad with that. You see, I have
Pick
an
me,
issue. That's why
you
I told
don't
when
want
I
to
was-
be that
When I
person.
was reading people pleasing, I got to understand lots of things that I actually did know about it. Because what is so wrong with me going out and I want to constantly hang out, let's say with Priva. I want to, what is so wrong? Isn't that love? Isn't that what friendship is supposed to be?
But pick me is kind of different. You see how it's different? It's we're three people here, right? So one of us might actually have a very wrong perception of something, but because you're a pick me, you'll agree with it even when you know it's
even
wrong.
when you don't necessarily
even when you know
yeah.
it's wrong, you'll just be the agreeable person, agreeing to literally everything because you don't want to be resented. You're actually fearful of resentment.
accepted,
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about the causes of one being a people pleaser or pick me. What really causes someone to be that person?
Before you get
you
to-
mentioned self-esteem, but you can add on to
Before we get
something
to, you had a previous question that you had asked if we have been in positions where we've been people pleasers.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be the first person to say that I knew pleasing people is something that I cannot agree to. It's something that is not agreeable to me.
But
so
it doesn't agree with your personality, so that alone already.
Like when you're a kind and empathetic person, you find yourself ending up as a people
pleaser, and I beg to differ. We should not confuse kindness with people pleasing. You know, you could be kind but not necessarily a people pleaser. Like you mentioned, you know, you can always say no if you have to say no. You don't have to you have to admit when your feelings are hurt. You know, if you're pissed at someone, you will tell them, you know what, Aggie, I feel like you hurt my feelings. That's not you being a people pleaser, but that's you being kind in your delivery and explaining to your friend that, you know what, something that you did actually messed me up. Something that you did hurt my feelings. So for me, I'll say let's separate people pleasing and actually being kind. Because the people pleasing can get lost in someone being kind. They think you're just there to earn some points with your friends or your cool friends or anything like that. But in actual sense, you can be empathetic, you can be very kind, but you can still stand up for yourself and say no when you're meant to say no. Not please people if it doesn't feel like it. I don't think I've used people pleasing to my advantage, because I'm a person who believes that the world should be black and white. You know,
They should not be grey.
yes, good should be good,
And
bad
bad.
should be bad. You know, it has nothing to do with like, oh my God, she's a people pleaser, so I've done something nice, she won't stand up for herself. No, I am kind, I'm empathetic, but if you do some messed up stuff, I'm going to speak up for myself. And that doesn't take away from being me, from being a
Yes.
kind person and empathetic. So,
And I
yeah.
think if you're to be a people pleaser, you'll have to, you know, when you start, you don't stop. Because one action you have, I mean, if today you are, let me just bring it in a normal setting, like back in school,
Yeah.
there are those kids who had a lot of money from home. So you find, I mean, you're buying everyone break. So this one time comes, I mean, everyone now becomes your friend, literally because of what you do for them. So this one time, you don't have money. Either you've done something home and they've cut your pocket money and you cannot afford to buy, you know, for everyone break just like you were, and everyone abandons you.
You see,
So when you start, you don't stop. That's the thing about people pleasing.
when you start, you don't stop, but it depends on also how you're forming these friendships with these
Exactly,
people.
that
You
is
know,
what I was going to
if
say.
you front yourself as having, you know, you're the big money bags, and you know you have
And you're trying
a
to
lot
buy
of money.
friendship even.
Yes, now you're buying friendship, so you don't even have a basic reason as to why you're in this friendship. It's not even about like, oh, I would run to Aggie if I needed help, or I would run to Aggie for some sort of advice if I needed it, or we actually relate on different levels, maybe with our stories or our family backgrounds or our religion. Like, you have nothing that binds you minus you using money to try and buy someone else. That's where you go wrong. So if you're trying to establish friendships but on a weird foundation, you're bound to be a people pleaser.
You know, another aspect of people pleasing that we neglect is the black sheep syndrome. This one is common in families. You know how they say every family has the black sheep? Like every child who causes cover. I think in my family, I need to research and see who the black sheep is. But anyway, so usually people who come from such families have the people pleaser syndrome. How? They have not been accepted by their very own family members. So they are looking for validation and acceptance elsewhere. And guess what? That validation is terrible, because the best kind of validation and acceptance you can get is from your family. So that is how it should be. I mean, that is the ideal. It is the reality for most people.
Yeah.
Like, family should be able to accept you. But imagine a lady, a man who comes from a home where they are not accepted. That means they are going to go away always continuously wanting to please other people so that they have a place they call home. So that, you know, they have a safe space even where they can express their emotions. So for some people, people pleasing is not a road they would want to take. But unfortunately, circumstances have pushed them to be that, because they're looking for solace, they're looking for rest, they're looking for peace, they're looking for comfort. So you're going to continuously want to, you know, please Aggie, please Priva, make sure that, you know, there is someone out there.
You're on their good side.
Exactly,
every
on
time.
the good side. There's someone to call you in the morning, buy you breakfast. Why? Because your family is not doing their part. So the black sheep syndrome is one aspect as to why we have people pleasing people in this community.
For me, I would have to say it's a matter of not knowing who you are. When you don't know who you are, you have no sense of belonging. Yeah? So as a result, you are desperate. You're firefighting. Where do I go? Where do I fit? Where can I be? Who are my friends?
You're tapping all
you
the
know,
possibilities.
yes, you're going in all directions, because you're trying to find that acceptance. You're trying to find someone who's going to be there for you, someone who's going to love you, even in the bad and, you know, good times. So self-esteem can be a funny thing, can be a weird thing that can force you into being a people pleaser. But let's start with self-love. You know, the moment I saw a meme yesterday, and it basically said something like, every time I went into people's lives with genuine intentions, I was told about self-love. That was the quote. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself going into people's lives, and every now and again, you're trying to get their approval, you're trying to fit in, think about yourself. Do you love yourself enough? Because you see, when you love yourself enough, you're going to have your own personality, so that, you know, when they ask someone, who do you think Shivan is, I'll be able to describe who Shivan is, because Shivan is confident in herself. Shivan is comfortable in her own skin, so I'm able to understand Shivan as a person. So even when people continue people pleasing, it's because the people you're trying to please don't even understand who you are as a person. They don't necessarily
lose
get
your
you.
sense of self.
Yeah.
because
And
you're trying to be
the
like
downside
people.
to that is that the people that you continuously want to please, if they do not accept you, then you're into rejection.
It adds,
Because
like,
now, actually, it's a ripple effect.
Ripple,
because,
yes.
ripple, yes.
You
It's now
got
a ripple
it
effect.
today.
It's now a ripple effect, because now you're getting into a whole other phase of rejection. Now you feel the whole world is against you.
So I mean, I'm saying work on your self-esteem, fix yourself and love yourself so much that any other person will not faze you. Like you're comfortable being alone, you're comfortable in your own solitude if need be. When you're with friends, you can explore, but if you're in your own comfortable space, you're okay either way.
I've given you one of the solutions. We'll give you others. But one of the causes of of people pleasing is poor self-esteem. Sometimes people engage in people pleasing behavior because they do not value their own desires and needs. Now, this is due to lack of self-confidence. People pleasers have a need for external validation. That is something the ladies talked about. The other one is insecurity. In other cases, people might try to please others because they worry that other people won't like them if they don't go above and beyond to make them happy. If you are in a space where you have friends who do makeup and they think that when you do makeup, you actually look extremely beautiful, and maybe you're the kind of person who doesn't love makeup. If you are going out, you have to do that makeup, or else, you know, they'll throw these comments of, no, you're actually lacking a little bit. Before you know it, you start doing things that you initially didn't love, because you just want to fit in and be a people pleaser and please your friends. The other one, past experiences. Now, painful, difficult, or traumatic experiences may also play a role. People who have experienced abuse, for example, may try to please others and be as agreeable as possible in order to avoid triggering abusive behavior in others. PTSD, Shivan did mention that. So as we wrap up the conversation, let's talk about how some of the detrimental, effects of people pleasing.
Losing yourself. You will lose yourself trying to please people, and people won't even acknowledge you, by the way. They will not even acknowledge you. So for me, please be yourself. Be yourself. The right people will love you the way they're supposed to love you. Stop people pleasing. And I'm saying this, stop people pleasing, but do not stop being kind. The two are very different. People pleasing goes beyond simple kindness. But kindness should be a constant in your life. Whether you're a people pleaser or not, kindness should be a constant in your life.
Okay.
Yes.
Mine would be Psalm 139 verses 13 and 14.
You're giving your final shots. What are some of the detrimental ways
Yes,
that
I was
people
coming to
pleasing?
us.
It looks like you're saying bye-bye already.
No. Psalm 139 verses 13 to 14 says that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. You knew me. Even before I was formed in my mother's womb, I was knit together explicitly for your own glory. That is the one thing you should take home. Because if you allow people pleasing to get your mind, you will never live a life of your own.
Yeah.
You will constantly be living in the shadow of others. And trust me, and you at an adult age, it's even worse, because no one will want to hang around you. Because you're not real.
Authentic.
You're not authentic. You're
real.
plastic.
Yes.
Like your views are plastic. Really? I remember there's a time I went for a meet and greet, and I think we're doing wine testing or something. And I do have my one, but I won't say I'm that bougie and I know all the brands, yes? And it's acceptable not to know. But because I was trying to fit in, I quickly Googled, took a picture, I was asking my friend, and at some point I'm like, but Shivan, who are you trying to please? It's okay not to know something, but are you making the effort to learn? That is the biggest question. But don't forget, Psalm 139.
Okay, Shivan just gave you the advice. It might help you ahead of this weekend, because you may not have enough money to buy the drinks that you want to. Ugandans really party over the weekend.
Yeah,
so you may not have the
drinks.
money, and yet your friends actually want you to hang out. So what happens is you go, start borrowing money, doing all those things, why are you getting debts? Why are you getting debts? Because you have to please people. Anyway, before I talk about some of the detrimental effects of people pleasing, if there was a party, right? Whatever party it is, and everyone is required to buy a certain kind of dress that probably costs around, let's put it at 500,000 Uganda shillings, and you do not have that money, would you borrow the money for the sake of being part of the group? For the sake of, you're literally trying to please people, right? Would you do it?
Oh, hell no.
Would you borrow that money?
No.
Oh, hell no.
No. I don't think I would.
Let's be realistic.
No,
Let's be
I actually
realistic.
wouldn't. I actually wouldn't. And if the only reason you're saying is just to fit in, no. Unless you're saying
you
it
don't
is a
want
place,
to miss out, yes?
No, fear of missing out, no. Unless you're telling me it is an event that has high-profile people, high dignitaries, people where you can make social capital, maybe then. But regardless of just fitting in, no.
Even
I
social
don't think
capital,
I
I'm
would.
not putting 500k on a dress. I'm not putting 500k on a dress. You see, I may be able to compromise.
500k, that's a lot
It's
of
too
money.
much, but I'll be able to compromise maybe if it's your wedding, Aggie, and you're saying, Priva, you're my friend. This is my wedding. You guys are required to come in your 500K dresses. That's what we're buying.
No, but you who is inviting people, you should provide for us.
That's what we're buying. Because I've seen weddings where like bridesmaids actually purchase their own gowns, like they pay for it as a form of supporting the bride. So if it gets to that point, 500K, I can let that go based on the issues of friendship. So if Aggie was getting married and she said, Priva, yes, as a bridesmaid, you are going to wear this dress, but it costs about $150. I'll look for that money and I'll buy that dress. I'll attend her wedding because that's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Now, I don't know if that is people pleasing, but it's more of like support.
And keeping friendships alive.
Yeah. So you can compromise where need be as long as it's worth it at the end of it all. Would you buy that dress?
If you bought that dress, would you be able to leave and say, oh, I actually bought this dress because I want to, I do not regret it? Or 2 days after, will you be saying,
I think I share the same sentiments with Priva. If let's say a friend of mine is really getting married and I have to be a part of the bridesmaids, even if I don't have the money, I think I would borrow it for support. But to say there's an event, there's blankets and wine, and I have to buy a dress of 500K because every one of my friends is wearing that is out. I'll go to my bed and sleep. Anyway, some of the detrimental effects are anger and frustration. While you might actually enjoy helping, you are also bound to experience frustration when you are doing things reluctantly or out of obligation. These feelings can lead to a cycle of helping someone, feeling mad at them for taking advantage, and then feeling regretful or sorry for yourself. You might actually start thinking someone is taking advantage of you, which is true, but you put yourself in that position in the first place. The other one is anxiety and stress. Efforts to keep other people happy can stretch your own physical and mental resources too thin. Trying to manage it all can leave you plagued with stress and anxiety, which can have detrimental effects to your health. You don't want to be that person. The other one is depleted willpower. Devoting all your energy and mental resources towards making sure that others are happy means you are less likely to have the resolve with willpower to tackle your own goals. When are you going to, focus on you? When are you going to focus on your career goals? When will you want to be, when will you stop wanting to be just like everyone else? I remember when we were HSC, when we were filling forms for university, there's certain students who actually did not know what they want. For real. They're like, what will be your first course? What you put as your first course is what they put as their course. Or maybe you find your friends are saying, I want to go to MOOC. But maybe the course you want is not actually at MOOC, it's at UCU. But because you want to please your friends, you want to be with your friends at Makerere University, you leave out, going to UCU where you could have actually pursued your dream career, and you go on the other end. Very bad, that one. The other one is lack of authenticity. People pleasers often hide their own needs and preferences in order to accommodate other people. This can make it feel as if you are not living your own life, which is actually true. As we wrap up the conversation, your final parting shots in regard to people pleasing, or a word of advice for any people pleaser out there.
Please be you. Be you. The right people are going to love you for being just you. Trust me, if you constantly work on pleasing other people and being what you think they want you to be, 9 out of 10 the chances that they actually do not care what you're actually doing. So be you. The right people will be in your life. Stop the anxiety. You're causing yourself unnecessary stress trying to please
losing
people.
Weight for nothing. My parting shot would be, always do not forget that you are created, especially if you're a believer. These things should sound familiar. Romans chapter 12 verse 2. You should know that there is a reason as to why you are created that way. There is a reason why there is one who is tall, there is one who is short. There is one who is medium, there is one who is fat. There is one, there is a place for everyone in society. Don't fret it, don't be anxious.
On top of finding yourself and being you, please find your purpose.
Oh yes.
Yeah, keep yourself busy. If it's playing football, if it's writing, if it is singing, get into that. Find something that makes you happy. No, people pleasing cannot be a hobby. It cannot be a purpose, please. So find your purpose.
There's one of us, yes, find your purpose. Priva said that. I think there's one of us who has been going a lot to church lately, and I'm so happy about that.
Proud of you.
Shivan Auma has been going to church.
Unfortunately,
it's clear.
I haven't been to church in the past 2 weeks. However,
you've been reading your Bible diligently.
My love for Christ comes because my parents raised me in the right way I should go.
That's a good thing.
Shout out to
Anyway,
Daddy
remember,
Shivan.
I mean, today is Friday, Sunday. Yeah, for Friday today, if you're a Muslim, remember to go to the mosque. And of course, tomorrow, SDS,
Even
remember
Saturday.
to go. Yes,
Yes.
SDS, that is tomorrow. And on Sunday, if you're a Christian, if you're a Catholic, Anglican, remember to go to church. God is very important.
And today is
but at
Friday.
the end of the day, yes, my final parting shots are, remember, friendships are actually reciprocal. Don't be the person that's always giving, and you're not receiving. You need that love. You need that love. That is all we had for you in this segment of Our Views. Keep watching Sunrise at Sea and don't blink.
Well, it has honestly been an amazing week right from Monday, and it's finally Friday. The week has come to an end. Also, the month has come to an end. I'm very excited because Fridays usually mean that you get to rest, you get to rediscover yourself, you get to understand, are you a people pleaser? It's very important that you understand. Well, special thanks to the team behind the scenes. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for waking up every morning deliberately to come and make sure that this show is on air. Special thanks to our CEO, of course, our producer, and of course from the team and the girls. We wish you a lovely, lovely week and also a new month.